This is a very special episode of Photowalks. It's Photowalks meets Backroads. In the 90s, my dad Jerry hosted a travel show here in San Francisco called Bay Area Backroads, and my son Sam had this great idea. Why don't you try to retrace some of your dad's steps? So here we are in North Beach taking a look at how things have changed or haven't changed through the years. So we're going to begin by having Jerry Graham give you the lay of the land, and then as always we will explore North Beach together in search of Italian culture and the best photo spots. Trust me, there are a lot of them, but let's begin with Dad. Here you go.
This is Washington Square Park. It's really the center of North Beach. Come on, I'll position you a little bit. Columbus Avenue runs along the park, and you can see the skyscrapers. That's Russian Hill. You can sort of know where you are by the surrounding buildings. You can see the Transamerica Pyramid straight up there. And then as we move along, lots of people enjoying themselves. Coit Tower overlooks the park, and maybe the most important structure is right here. This is St. Peter and Paul's Cathedral. This is the important church of North Beach. That's where Joe DiMaggio and Marilyn Monroe got married.
Well, a lot has changed here in North Beach since the 90s when my dad was here for Bay Area Backroads, but one thing remains the same. Washington Square Park is still intact. The church is still there, Coit Tower is still there, and it's still a fun place to visit. Obviously, the Gothic church that my dad loved has not changed one iota from his day. When I stepped in for a visit, I got a pretty pleasant surprise. A big fat local wedding was just concluding. The main thoroughfare in North Beach is Columbus Avenue, which is home to the many Italian restaurants, bakeries, and cafes that dot the neighborhood. Sadly, since my dad's day, too many of the great North Beach Italian restaurants have come and gone. Names like U.S. Restaurant, Cafe Puccini, Cafe Roma. That's the bad news. The good news is there's still a lot of them left. I mean, a lot. You will still find more great Italian restaurants in one location than I think anywhere outside of Italy. And they're all pretty great too. So what to do when you get here? Well, how about walking, eating, and photographically having fun with your street photography assignment? Because it's pretty simple. Capture the Italian flavor of what you see all around you. Let your eye roam and go crazy. Shoot in the evening to catch the great neon-filled streets if you can right after the sun sets, or in the daytime or night. Explore the alleys, love the signs, the flags, the people, the food.
Now, what other city in the world could you walk from Italy all the way over to China just by crossing the street?
My dad loved this shot back when he did it, and 30 plus years later, I could still do it from Italy to Chinatown, right across the street.
The very name Chinatown conjures up all sorts of images, from century-old temples and mysterious herb shops to touristy shops crowding the city's oldest street, Grant Avenue. Since the gold rush, this has been San Francisco's exotic link to the East, a place where English is often a foreign language. So how do you enjoy Chinatown? Well, like North Beach, leave the car behind. This is one of the most densely populated places in the world, and not a place to be driving.
Chinatown is a place to walk through. Parking is very hard to come by, and it's so busy. Why bother with a car anyway? Just go down the two main streets, Grant and Kearny, and let your eyes wander. Photo ops are everywhere. So a lot of the places that my dad visited back in the 90s on back roads in Chinatown are not here. At least the businesses are not here. The buildings are still here, and that's what's really cool. Like this one. Once upon a time, this was a telephone exchange place. When people in Chinatown, this is how they were all reached, all from a bunch of operators. And of course, now it's a bank, but still a beautiful building and very photo-worthy. So this is the biggest Chinatown outside of Asia, the largest in the United States, and one of the most popular tourist spots in all of San Francisco. And you know what that means. Great photo sightings and some pretty good food as well. Remember that I'm shooting this episode on a camera that's way smaller than the one that my dad used back in the Backroads day. Same camera you guys probably have. I've got an iPhone, and I'm also shooting on a GoPro as well. Way higher resolution than what he got, and these cameras are so awesome, there's no reason you can't get amazing pictures of Chinatown with the phone that's in your pocket.
Like any great city anywhere in the world, the best way to see it is to walk, and that's what you do in North Beach. You can't find a place to park anyway. You just take a walk and take in the sights and the smells. Now, I know you can't smell this, but take a look. They are roasting coffee, and coffee is what North Beach is all about. I gotta have one.
You could come to North Beach, Jerry, and have a good cup of coffee. And no matter where you go in North Beach, you're going to find a good cup of coffee.
Sadly, this coffee place that my dad went to visit, Cafe Roma, is one of several ones that I have noted have since closed. But there are still many places to get great Italian coffee in North Beach. Many. While it's all inland now, once upon a time there actually was a beach here down by what's now Fisherman's Wharf. Those shorelines have been filled in with city streets and buildings.
It's the oldest neighborhood in San Francisco, and it's one of the great neighborhoods of the country.
Beyond the flavor of Little Italy, North Beach was once home to the beach generation of writers, poets, and artists like Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, who are still celebrated to this day at the City Lights bookstore. When visiting North Beach, many people venture south to two great attractions nearby. Coy Tower at the top of Telegraph Hill is the symbol of the area, and it literally towers over the neighborhood, giving visitors and residents a great marker to let them know where they are. Fisherman's Wharf is down the way, and Crazy Lombard Street, the crookedest street in the world, is nearby. Photographically, it's a tough one to capture, but it is a fun visit. At Coy Tower, you'll have to pay a fee to go up to the observation tower, but believe me, it is so worth it. Now from up here, you're going to get even more awesome panoramic 360-degree sweeping views of the city from all sides, including the East Bay and Marin County. For my money, you get your best San Francisco skyline view from right up here. And when you're done, don't miss the first floor of the building, which is free to all, to see the amazing 1930s artwork, which was commissioned as part of the WPA project. Care to see where I once lived as a young man in North Beach? It was quite a climb when I lived here, but it was a 2-block walk downhill to get food from this amazing local deli, which is now still standing and over 100 years old.
You go the Italian delicatessen and you see everything you find in Italy. Anything like a bread, you want a loaf of Italian bread, you find a loaf of Italian bread.
So this is the deli that my dad visited back in the 90s. It's called Molinari's. It's over 100 years old, and it's being run by the 4th generation, Nick Mastellis. He's going to tell us all about it. Come on, let's go in. Your great-grandfather worked here and took it over?
This is true. Back in the day, these old school Italian delis, they were a normal thing. This is all over the town in New York, back east, where those Italian communities prospered. And then same with Italian culture and movies, like, you know, all the different shows and movies that come out about Italian culture. Like, this is something that makes people remind them of that, you know? And so I think we're one of the last to stay doing this, you know, and I think that's part of what has made us so special and unique, and that has helped us throughout the years. North Beach, in my life, has changed a pretty good deal. It's probably gotten a block shorter, but from my grandpa and my dad's era, it's gotten down 5 blocks, 4 blocks, you know, and so that's part of another calling, I feel, is to help keep this special neighborhood alive and going.
Is your #1 sale a sandwich?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what would that sandwich be?
The #1 is the Molinari Special, Italian combo.
Tell us about it.
Oh yeah, it's a combination of our cold cuts. You get our homemade house meats that the Molinari family makes, like salami, mortadella, galantina, zampino, head cheese if you like, the works on a beautiful fresh made roll.
All right, well, good luck. Thank you for talking to me, and I hope, another 100 years?
Absolutely. Yeah, my kids at least.
So we come to an end of our Photowalks Meets Backroads episode here in San Francisco in the North Beach area. I had a great time. I ate really well. I took some great pictures. I hope you had a good time too. Got to end with a big bite of a Molinari special, right? Here we go. Thanks for watching, everyone. That is really good. The little seaside town of Mendocino was originally developed as a New England style place with tons of Victorians, and that hasn't changed much over the years. So much so that my dad Jerry said just that in 1991 for an episode of his Bay Area Backroads show. On today's episode of Photowalks, I am retracing some of my dad's backroad steps, as well as, of course, showing you some of the best spots for awesome photos right here in the North Coast, and there are a lot of them. Now, I'm standing on Main Street in Mendocino. This still is a town where time has stood still, and if you don't believe me, let me cut to my dad back in 1991.
This is Main Street, Mendocino. This is probably the most recognizable view of town. Right back there, there's shops and boutiques and cafes. You could buy or eat just about anything, and that's what a lot of people do, is visit the shops.
What's cool is how Main Street really hasn't changed much, well, except for the prices, of course, and they do call downtown Mendocino. The old Bank of America building is now a toy and puzzle shop. Mendocino Inn, right over there, still dominates the skyline, and most of the action takes place at the two pubs on Main Street, Dick's and Flo. Now, I should mention that back in my dad's day, they used to produce backroads on those huge Sony Betacam cameras the TV journalists used to use. Now, we trot around iPhones and even tinier GoPros, and you know, my how times have changed. The resolution is much higher on these little cameras. You know what hasn't changed? Every morning over at the visitor center right over there, they still pull out the kites every morning to let everybody know they're open for business. Back in the 90s on Backroads, my dad suggested starting right here when you come to Mendocino. Go right through this opening to check out the awesome free view right here.
These are the headlands, right?
These are the headlands of Mendocino, that's correct.
Now, this view hasn't changed in 30 years. Will it change in 100? I'm guessing it won't. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Come check out the view.
The Headlands, for my money, is the top attraction in Mendocino, and it's 100% free. It's a great place to walk for miles and miles and to get fantastic photos like these. The Headlands extends all the way from Big River Beach to the south to the visitor center trails right in town to a more secluded beach just north, and then further up the road where it's home to the most dramatic cliffs, sea stacks, and rare rocks. Where else can you walk directly over the water like this? Now, the other top photo spots: number 2, the Victorians of Mendocino. Number 3, the Russian Gulch State Park Trail, which leads to a fun waterfall. There's also a great old bridge you're going to want to photograph there as well. Number 4, the Point Cabrillo Lighthouse is just a few miles up the road, and it is gorgeous. Number 5, the Mendocino Botanical Garden, a great place to practice your macro photography. And number 6, Glass Beach in nearby Fort Bragg, where sea glass has been washing up on shore for decades. For a second opinion about the area, I stopped into a photo gallery in Fort Bragg and spoke to a master photographer who's been photographing the area for over 35 years. Why the North Coast over the Central California coast near Big Sur, which many people believe is one of the most awesome drives in the world?
The Central Coast is beautiful, but the North Coast is a little bit more rugged and a whole lot less people.
Let's take a deep dive on those top photo spots. One in particular should be very recognizable to anyone who watched TV in the 1980s or 90s, or streaming TV today. This is the Murder, She Wrote house, where Angela Lansbury's character of Jessica Fletcher supposedly lived, even though the show was set in fictional Cabot Cove, Maine. Only the exterior was shown on the show, but that has not stopped fans, even all these years later, from stopping by and getting their Instagram fix.
I love it. It looks exactly like it should. I think she would be proud of her garden.
I've had some very interesting guests here that have come a long way just to come here, even young people. So yeah, it's something that's just still very popular. Yes, they always ask if she had stayed here. So I have to tell them no, she never actually stayed here. And her house in the program, the interior is much different, much grander than the Blair house. So people sometimes expect to see a grand staircase and a great big living room and all that. But no, this is just an old Victorian with a lot of small rooms with high ceilings.
Murder, She Wrote, as you know, left the airwaves years ago, but it's not just the Blair House that keeps its memory alive in Mendocino. The nearby Hill House has a very visible sign on its property dating back to that time, letting people know about the connection. For the next stop, I'm deferring to my dad.
Barely 2 miles from busy Mendocino, there's a place that may have it all, Russian Gulch State Park. You'll also find a sandy beach, 30 campsites, and miles of trails, including a fern-lined path that will take you to the 36-foot-tall Russian Gulch Falls.
Now, speaking of that waterfall, how much fun is this to photograph? Most current phones are water resistant, and that makes them a joy to take with you to a place like this. You can let the phone run wild under the waterfall and not have to worry about it being ruined. The Point Cabrillo Lighthouse is just up the road from Russian Gulch, and photographically there are so many possibilities and so many different places to get your shot. I like shooting from the side because of the way the sun was accentuating the red color of the roof. But my favorite was stepping away to the other side for a big honkin' wide shot where it looks like the lighthouse is guarding over this corner of the world. Be sure to time your exposure to snap when you see the lighthouse light blinking. Meanwhile, if you're visiting on one of the magic Saturdays just once a month when tours are offered, jump for it because it enables you to climb to the top and get up close and personal with the Fresnel light. Now, before we head up the road, a few quick notes about me and my dad. Jerry Graham was a cameraman and announcer in the early days of television before moving into radio and then morphing into this incredible Act 3 with a return to TV. He was kind enough to buy me a guitar as a youngster, thank you Dad, followed up with a camera, and he encouraged me to follow my love of photography and music. That's me playing in the background with my pal Paul. I began my journalism career shortly before he returned to his after his detour into radio management. PhotowalksTV began because I loved how cool my photos looked when married to video and music, and who doesn't want to travel, right? Like he did, I live for interviewing folks out on the road. My twist is helping people get better photos on the camera that's in their pocket, the smartphone. My dad and I never got to explore Mendocino together. In fact, the only time we ever appeared on camera jointly was for my old Talking Tech series for USA Today. Check it out. I think you'll love my opening question and his response.
What kind of camera does Jeff's dad have?
I don't have a camera.
You don't have a camera?
Now, this interview was taken about 5 years into the smartphone era, and while I'm sure that my dad would be packing a smartphone with a killer camera today, like his kids, well, I thank him for the memories and Cron TV for capturing Jerry Graham at his best. When we come back, it's photo tip time. Tips for photographing Victorians like the Blair House. Will go as wide as you can to capture the whole building. These homes look great in midday when and if some beautiful sunshine is beating down over the building to bring out the colors. If there are clouds, well, this calls for a time lapse. I love watching the world float above at high speed, and they're so easy to do. Just put your phone onto a tripod and click the time-lapse or hyperlapse mode and let it sit there for a good period of time, at least 30 minutes. Running water is also great for Apple's Live Photos trick, which gives you a long exposure milky water effect. Just enable live before you shoot and then click the menu at the top of the screen to shift it to long exposure. So my photo tips for photographing Chinatown, they're pretty simple. Look for the color, the street art, the people, the food, the great old buildings. It is a regular photographer paradise. Nighttime when the lights come out is fantastic, but midday sun bringing out the colors of the building, well, that's pretty cool too. If you're bringing someone to Chinatown for a portrait shoot, it's hard to top the grittiness and urbanness of this backdrop. Don't forget that the most popular iconic shot of Chinatown is the Dragon Gate near Union Square. You can cross the street at the lights to get the wide shot of the complete gate because you won't be able to get it by standing directly in front of it. And know that the lights are timed and you should have 15 to 20 seconds to get the shot. People sometimes say to me, "Hey Jeff, how come my smartphone photos don't look as good as yours?" Well, one reason may be because I actually work on them afterwards. I do editing before they leave the phone. No photo is going to leave the phone before it's been tweaked, at least just a little bit. My go-to app for doing this, believe it or not, is the free Apple Photos app that comes on every iPhone or Google Photos on Android. There are sliders that you can adjust, boost the exposure a bit, boost the blacks, make the colors richer. That's my recipe.
Hey, that's a wrap for our Photowalks Meets Backroads episode right here, where else but Chinatown. Thanks everybody for watching. Please stay tuned for more of our Photowalks episodes in San Francisco, and I'll see you on the next Photowalk. Bye-bye.